Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. And the week after the 4th of July, I hope that you are all well. If you have followed me at any time, you know this lady, Dr. Cece Mikles, is just to know her is to love her. As I was getting ready actually for this interview today, I was like, I wonder what it's like to not have any enemies because I cannot imagine this woman having an enemy ever in her life. She just exudes love and exudes laughter. And I had the pleasure of being with her at ChiroFest a couple of years ago, and baby Claire was a teeny tiny baby. And it was so fun to just hold her and love on her. And Cece is just puts everyone at ease. She also is a bold warrior, and she and her family recently moved from the closed state of Washington to the open state of Tennessee. And despite all of that, despite moving and moving and a home and job for her husband and new stuff for her kids, she has 5x'd her income from Q1 to Q2. So Cece, welcome. Thanks for joining me. And let's get started on how did you do that and what action steps and advice do you have for others who are looking to grow a brand new practice? Oh, can't hear you. You know what? It's confusing because we were talking on our phone before we went live here. So just give us 1 minute here. Can you hear me? No. I cannot hear you. I wonder if trying to think if we go back to phone. Let's just try something. Let's try. I'll call you again.
Hey, Dr. Barb, can you hear me?
I can.
Can everybody else hear me?
I'm not sure.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Here, maybe I take this off. Can you hear me?
I can only hear you on the phone.
Oh, that is so weird. It was like as soon as you went live.
Oh, they can hear you.
Anymore.
They can hear you. So let's go. Thank you, whoever said that. Yay!
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, listen. I'm so grateful to be here with you today, Dr. Barb, and that you have made time for me and that everyone else has made time to listen in. Because I will tell you, having a coach when you're starting a practice or restarting is absolutely the most valuable thing that you can do for yourself, honestly. Having guidance and having experience is nice, yes. Like restarting and doing this whole thing over again, honestly, wouldn't be the same, honestly, without you. And all good for teeth, but the biggest thing really comes down to just God and knowing that, my husband and I, we had our dream home. He was SWAT for 6 years. He'd been doing his job for 10. Like, he was at a very seasoned place to move up and to continue making more money. And for me, my practice was right where I wanted it to be, but we just kept feeling our hearts being tugged, and God just, finally our threshold hit. We just said, you know what, let's do it. Let's be brave. Let's try this. We trust you, God. I trust that everything's going to be better than it is now. And he found me the right person. And I mean, I sold my practice. I built this thing, and I had your guidance and help. And there were people in the boot camp who loved me and supported me through that and gave me their guidance and their advice. And, that really gave more confidence into the reboot. But the biggest thing about restarting has just been mindset. Like, just don't let yourself get into, I'm going to compare myself to Sally down the street, or I'm going to look at what they're doing in Texas, or, okay, you're not in Texas, you're not that person, you've walked your own journey. So I think really being focused and razor focused on mindset has really been one of the biggest powerful things. And then, of course, the second thing would be strategic partners. That has been absolutely the most valuable tool on the planet. I've always referred with other providers. And so for me, when I got here, was just, let's make connections. Like, this is a new practice. I can be kind of in your face with my energy. So how can I do that in a manner that's, hello, how are you? And not explosive and I'm all over the place. How can we be organized about it? So for me, just being able to connect with the right people, God has just placed them right in the way so that the right patients who really need my care show up on my schedule. And so that's been helpful.
So let's slow this down for a second. Let's go back to mindset, right? Because obviously in the boot camp, that's where we start, right? Like this is the engine of the success train. And this is the engine even of our personal life, right? Like you and Chris, brought your prayers and petitions to the Lord and then used this in order to like get from Washington to Texas. So when you say mindset, what do you find is the number one condition of mindset that has led you to 5x your brand new practice from Q1 to Q2?
I think it's the sink or swim. I think there was a lot of it of I let go of the other clinics that was helping, and it became that kind of, well, do you want to just stay here and do nothing, or are you going to get off your tough and take some action, right?
Yes.
And so it really did take a lot of like, oh yeah, I want to take action. I want to do this. And the second that I said, oh yeah, I want to take action, it was like, my body naturally wakes up early now. I have 2 hours before the kids. Now I got puppies and kitties that I get to hang out with while I do my, mindset. And the biggest thing would be journaling. Dr. Barb, we have these wonderful journals that help us write down our daily goals. They help us write down powerful mantras and words that affirmations, that sort of.
Yeah.
And so, those affirmations are powerful because it's been freaking ugly getting to this point of 5Xing because, at this point last year, I was living in my nanny's basement. I had just failed at trying to move my family to Florida, and I had a Florida license, and I was days away from getting a Tennessee license, and it was ugly. I thought, oh my God, like I don't have a life, I don't have a job, I just work for someone, who am I? You start feeling those negative thoughts sink in, and as a mom, it's easy to go into straight autopilot when you have kids because you just gotta wake up and feed them and go on this autopilot. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm almost 40. I just changed my whole life around. People think we're crazy, and here I am living in my grandma's basement. But it was an instant thing of like, that's right, I need to be diligent about my actions. Like I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna journal, I'm gonna spend my time in the Word, I'm gonna pour into my family when I'm with them, but I'm going to pour into the things I need to do to get a practice, because I basically had to move my old practice here and my started a new practice. So there's just been a lot of behind the scenes, but God has given me the time and the space for it. Of course, I'm sure you feel this way. I want it to happen today.
Right.
And then when it doesn't happen today, you're like, oh, why?
Yeah.
But then you go back to, that's right, as chiropractors, we're explaining to our patients every day. Healing takes time. It's the same thing with a practice and with something new. It takes time. And so being patient has also been very helpful with the mindset thing.
Yeah. And with that time thing, for those who are watching who are opening a new practice or restarting, I also want to invite you to get rid of the lie that, oh, well, it's going to take me 5 years to be successful, or, well, everyone knows that it's going to be 6 months before I'm profitable. Like, get rid of that, right? Because remember, our reticular activating system, it makes our beliefs true. So it will go out and find proof and evidence to make your beliefs true. So if you think it's going to take 6 months, guess what? It probably is. But if instead you're like, I'm going to be profitable from day one, that is going to be way more empowering and you'll do things that are in alignment with what you've put into your reticular activating system. And that obviously is a huge part of our mindset. And like in the boot camp, we talk about pressing on and going through the terror barrier, even when it's scary, even when we don't feel like it, even when, like you said, all of the things that we tell our new practice members and our practice members about health and well-being, they actually apply to wealth as well. So number one, mindset. Number two, networking. And I love that you're willing to be introspective as well, instead of just being like, oh, well, that's just the way I am. I'm just someone who gets up in people's faces. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. If that's not going to serve me well in this relationship, then what are the steps that I need to take, not to be a fake, but maybe like in honor of the person who's getting to know me, and then to allow some of that, additional energy to come out. I don't remember which coach taught me that a strength overused can become a weakness, right? And what I mean by that is even at 54 years old, I've had to learn, okay, yeah, I can pretty much charge through and charge into anything at full strength. That doesn't mean full strength is always the thing that's necessary. I mean, think about like even adjusting. Can you imagine adjusting an infant in the same way you would adjust a 250-pound man? Terrible idea, right? Like it's also, God's given us the ability to be mindful of the circumstances that we're in and the people that we're with. So, you're getting all kinds of love here. I just want to keep sharing it. Dr. Cece's a powerhouse. Love both of y'all ladies. I wish I could see who's making these comments, because we'd love to give you love.
I know, me too.
Love
when
back.
I'm always like, hello, and I'm like constantly like talking, and then I have to come back to what I was saying.
Yeah. So number one, mindset. Number two, networking. What's number three that's helped you 5x your brand new practice?
Following your stats. Following your numbers like a freaking hawk. I had always been really nonchalant about it and busy, and I never had made it like, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to follow my numbers, and every week I put them in. Every week I celebrate. Every week I think, okay, how can I do a little bit more? The next goal is to add in my daily success sheet so I can see exactly where I'm going to have to work harder at things, right?
Yes.
So far, that's been tremendous, because then I see, oh, hey, look at this. Look how this month actually, or this couple weeks, were a little slower because this blew up, which is how I know that, hey, I might be having a really weird week and there's lots of stuff going on in my home, but I can come here and this is still growing and doing, right?
Yeah.
Because we've had that kind of focus on, okay, this is what we're doing and this is where we're at. And letting go of people's their own insecurities and their own limiting beliefs and thoughts, right? Like, you do all this work and you're like, oh my gosh, look, I just showed you where your substation is and how your brain's not working, and we're going to help your baby. And they're kind of like, yeah, I'm in pain. It just didn't help me the first time. I'm out of here. And you just have to go, love you, see you later.
Yeah.
You just open the door for like 4 other people that really need me,
Yeah.
And so I think that helped me up a whole lot in the past, for sure. Because we care. I mean, that's the hard part, being empathetic. You read their history, you talk to them, and you feel so loving and connected with this person. When they don't show back up, you're like, oh, poor me. When in reality, it's like, they are on another planet. They forgot it was you. It was their own problem, not yours.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot too. Just staying focused on the, like, people need me, and this is a need, and the need is here. Serve.
I think it's also I am definitely of the persuasion that I don't like to believe trends, right? And I'll admit, I've had a really difficult times. I was just having a great conversation with Dr. Devin Verana the other day about this, and how even in our strong communities, there is this sense of and blanket of, even if it's low level, kind of like a chronic undiagnosed infection of distrust, right? And the whole the fawn, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And fawn came about through our nerve systems, really was birthed out of the pandemic, of saying yes, 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 and like genuinely wanting to take action, or genuinely wanting to make a change, or genuinely wanting to move across the country, or genuinely wanting to bring their children in. And there's just this sense of yes that has a no in the back. And this sense of distrust has led to a beautiful invitation, if we're able to see it that way, of tending to the seed for a longer germination, right? That it used to be in many situations that we could just plant the seed, spit at it, like put a little bit of water, give it a little bit of sunshine, and it would grow. It's not necessarily that way anymore. That there, and I think also the pandemic also gave birth to a lot of other sources of natural health care, right? And so people are testing this thing and testing that thing, and their worlds really got rocked, because wait a minute, really? The medical profession and the government, they would lie to us? Are you serious? Right? So like just that shaking of something that they have been taught was, like the gold standard. The white coat is who has the answers, and there's no way they would be untrustworthy. And so that foundation has been very rocked, right? And then we come in with all of this confidence because we know how chiropractic works, right? We know how the human body works. We saw how profound of an impact living a healthy lifestyle was to keep ourselves and our family and our people well, despite all of this stuff that was going on, that we flew through COVID with 10 days in bed, and we were fine on the other end, right? And so I just want to encourage you and anyone watching to, you're not doing something wrong, and your people likely aren't either. It just is requiring more love. And we have a lifetime to make that work. So that may seem like a contradiction of what I said before of don't believe it takes a year to be successful, because it doesn't. But what is going to be required is more of ourselves being poured out, which we have the capacity to do, and to remember it's about them. And it may take more touch points. It may take holding space for them in their confusion, and even in irate situations, which isn't a reflection of us, it's a reflection of what's happening on the inside. And so I just want to encourage you, and I've seen you do this. Like I've seen you stand strong in the face of adversity, and stand strong in the face of confusion and doubt, and every time you've chosen to just stay grounded and be grateful, and then go forward in another step of love. And I truly believe like that's how we continue to be the beacon in our communities and the safe place for them to regain their health and to work out the confusion that many of them are feeling. And so with that in mind, Cece, how are you, even like in Tennessee, it's way different than Washington. What is your number one tip for the person who's sitting in that chiropractor, who's sitting in that place of what's wrong with me? Like, why did people leave, or why aren't they coming?
I think if you're asking yourself, why me and why aren't they coming to me, you should be then maybe asking, what is your why? So instead of focusing on the people that aren't coming, right? Focus on the negative, get more negative. What you want to do, especially if you're a person that's out there thinking, why me? Why is she so successful and I'm not? This girl's full of crap. You know, people we get in those black collar brainers, left brain will just go there and hang out there and think all sorts of weird things and then tell it to ourselves, and then we believe it. But that's not the reality, right? And you coach on that a lot, Dr. Barr. But the biggest thing is, I think finding your why means, why are you doing chiropractic? Why are you here in the first place? I went to a very philosophically barren chiropractic college up in the Northwest, and it was wonderful, lovely education, lovely people. But honestly, there was a lot of people that I'm like, what is your why? Why are you here? Like me, I absolutely do not want, I want every child, my why is every child should be checked. Every child should have the opportunity to have their spine and nerve system checked by a chiropractor. Period. That is my driving force. Like, if I'm talking to somebody and I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to tell them, I have to remember that why. Like, oh yeah, no child left behind. Mine is no child left unchecked. That's like what I hear in my mind all the time. And so for me, what that means is, how can I tell people about, how can we subtly sneak it in? Or, how do you talk to them about, a kid really needs care, or this is what we do here, and it's different. And so always coming back to your why. Because if you're focusing on why me, why are they leaving, why negative this, fill in the blank, then you're not focusing on your why, period. You're like, why are you doing what you're doing every day?
Yeah.
So I think that was really helpful.
And, I think it's an interesting thing what our neurology does with the question why. I have found, what do I want? And then waiting for and listening for that deeper feeling of what do I want? Then that's an in here and a here in your gut, right? Versus
like talking about your darker side, like in the book we have darker side, the first side is our kind of voice, right? And our kind of, don't do that, eat this, don't eat that, sleep now. So I think that's exactly what you're saying. Is it's almost like the dark voice gets triggered from that and says, well, neurology says.
Right. And that's exactly knowing what we want and who we are. I mean, think of it this way. Think about the times you've been hungry and gone to the grocery store without a list.
Oh yeah.
Not a good scene, right? Especially if you're tired and your kids are cranky, which really represents a lot of our lives, right? I'm tired, I'm cranky. I don't even really know what I want. I knew what I want, and it was so easy when I first started. I just jumped into chiropractic college and I went for it, right? I knew what I wanted. I wanted to become a chiropractor, to get into practice, and now it's well, I don't even know what I want. I know I want to be successful. I know I want to serve people, but what's on the other side of all of that? What's on the other side of earning $500,000? What's on the other side of adding an associate? What's on the other side of what is the big promise that we've told ourselves is going to come as a result of that reward? And I think something that we miss is that what we're all really searching for is peace and fulfillment and satisfaction. And we believe that when we get there, we will experience it. But if we don't know what we truly want, we'll run all over the place and fill our carts with all kinds of things and probably spend too much money and too much time filling our cart with things that really don't matter. And that's why, I put on here, if that's you, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. It's been interesting. I've been in this place of getting clearer about what I want, and have pursued this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing, all hoping that on the other side of it will be that answer. and wondering, well, why don't I just get started? And it's really come to my attention that if we don't know what we want, we will search all over and many times grab onto things hoping that they're going to fulfill us, only to end up in the same exact spot. So, inviting you and anyone else that's listening to join us. It's a free group discussion with my coach and I. It is for women only. You don't have to just be a chiropractor either. At the Wild Women Play Shop, and we're really and truly narrowing in on, like, if you're feeling stuck and at a loss about how you move forward, like if the world's expectations of success and happiness, if they're not quite hitting your mark, no matter how hard you try, then it's time to maybe look in a different way. And so that's what Cece has done in her life, as well as, like, really gone deep within to see what is it that makes my heart sing. And then it has thrown kind of almost caution to the wind and set up in a place that makes her heart sing. And we're not saying to any of you, pick up and move your family. We're simply inviting you into a relationship with your life that has deep meaning and purpose. So, Cece, as we close this amazing conversation, what final words do you want to offer to our audience?
I just want to say that if you're a chiropractor, I love you. But if you're in business and you're a chiropractor in business, that, stop comparing yourself, start pouring into your own self, because that's the only way as chiropractors we're all going to change this crazy world that we're rolling around on, this big old rock called Earth. The only way we're going to change it, I believe, is through chiropractic and through what we do. But I think the big thing is to be able to be together and be able to not just be so comparison driven and be more companion driven, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, and I do truly believe, I've looked at lots of groups and things out there. I truly believe, Dr. Barb, that your group at boot camp is a beautiful place just for that, to connect, to be part of other people who are judgment free and are going to support you, and truly believe there's no dumb questions. So I'm so grateful. I can't even believe it's been 5 years. I'm like, what? Huh?
Absolutely. Yes. And please know, we're not alone. Being alone is simply a choice. So lean in. Like, there are so many of us in the boot camp. Like, really, we're all more alike than we are different, right? And we all have these secret battles that are raging inside of our hearts and our heads. So if that's where you are today, like, you're not alone. Let's just come in together, take off the masks, have real conversations that we all crave. And that doesn't mean you're broken and need fixing. That doesn't mean your life has to be in shambles to come and join us. I also truly believe that each one of our lives can be the springboard for somebody else's transformation. So, like, maybe you have figured things out, like Cece has figured out how to pick up, leave behind, move to a new land, so she could help you if that's what you're doing. Like, I have figured out lots of things. There are other boot campers who figured out lots of things. And guess what? Your genius can be somebody else's catalyst for growth and transformation, because we really and truly are in this game called life, and we're in it to win it together. So, Cece, thanks for joining me today. For all of you who joined us, God bless you. We appreciate you, and we'd love to see you inside our tribe or at one of our upcoming events. See ya. Have a great day. Bye.